Have you ever paused to consider the weight and significance of a covenant? Join us in this series on the blood covenant. Genesis 15:4-21 reveals 10 keys as a divine covenant unfolds. It wasn't just a historical account, it's a blueprint for our relationship with God. Let's start with the first key. A covenant is made to confirm a promise. God promised Abraham the land of Canaan, a promise that was not just for him, but for generations to come. Think about that. God's promises are always eternal, never fleeting ones. 2. Covenants are relational, made between two parties. Here, it's God and Abraham. This isn't a transaction, it's a relationship grounded in trust and commitment. 3. The greater party initiates the covenant. God asked Abraham to bring 5 offerings, not because he needed them, but to show that this covenant is rooted in his grace. Just as we love Christ because he first loved us and died for us. Now, let's talk about the blood. 4. Covenants are sealed by blood. This isn't a casual agreement. It's a commitment involving the transfer of life from one to another. When God made this covenant, he was saying, this is forever. You can't change your mind later. But here's the bottleneck. After a covenant is made, the enemy will come. 5. We are warned that just like the fowls that tried to steal the carcasses, the enemy will try to destroy our blessings. We must vigilantly protect what God has promised us. 6. Both parties must identify with the covenant through an oath. Walking between the pieces symbolizes the seriousness of this agreement. It's a stark reminder that breaking this covenant carries fatal consequences. 7. When we forget, God doesn't. He walked between the pieces while Abraham slept. Isn't that comforting? And because only God walked between the pieces, Jesus was torn apart on the cross, though it was Abraham's seed that violated the covenant. 8. The covenant changes us. Note the deep sleep that came over Abraham was like the one that came over Adam while God made Eve out of and for Adam. 9. And the impact of a covenant? It's generational. What God promises us extends to our bloodline. When we believe, we and our households are saved. Finally, 10. Imagine this. Under God's covenant, even our enemies become instruments for our blessings. God gave Abraham not just the land, but also the nations occupying it. Genesis 15:18-21. If God could do all these with an animal's blood, think of the power in the blood of Christ that seals our covenant today. Are you ready to embrace this promise? Join us as we continue to explore the blood covenant.